happy you could join me here today. So let's get started straight away. Today we're doing a class with the hand weights. Now my hand weights are not that heavy. They're 1.5 kilos. It's probably on the heavier side though. So if you've just got 1 kilo weights or even lighter, water bottles filled with water or sand or something, that's going to be just fine. And of course you can just abandon them at any time if you don't want to do it anymore. All right, well, let's get started. Placing the feet right underneath your body, right underneath your hip joints, standing up nice and tall, hands by your side. We want to have the bones, a little bit of squeeze between the shoulder blades, a nice light lift of the pelvic floor, and gently drawing your belly button to your spine. So let's take a nice big deep breath. And then on your exhale, we're going to nod chin to chest. Keep scooping the abdominals, bend the knees. We're going to roll down. We're going to go all the way to the floor, so bending the knees as much as you need to. Breath in when we get there. Exhale, drawing that belly button to your spine. We're going to roll up, restack the bones one by one, all the way up. Nice big breath in at the top. Rolling down, bend the knees, let the arms hang heavy. Curling the spine. Nice big breath in at the floor and rolling up. Restacking the bones. We're doing 3. Nice big breath in. 3 times. Just bookmark how you're feeling, because of course we will revisit this feeling at the end. Rolling up. Once you're up, without breaking the movement, we're going to take the arms out to the side and moving into those classic side bends that I do at the top of every class. Just a great way to warm up the body. Move the spine in 3 ways before we even really get going with the class. To keep the hips right on top of the knees and ankles. And just wave that spine, bending the spine side to side. And we're trying to avoid sticking the hips out. So keep even weight over both feet. Nice one. And as your body starts to loosen up, which inevitably can take a few reps, especially in the morning, even if you've been up for a few hours already, it's normal to feel a little bit stiff. So take your time with it, enjoy it, and with each one you want to increase the bend just that little bit further. And we'll make this next one the last one, and we're going to pause and have a little bit more time here. Feels so nice, and then up we come, and we'll do the same to the other side. Spending just a few more seconds here, making the most of that stretch, and up we come. Good, turning the palms to face the ceiling, bend the knees. Let's go for a double twist. Back through center, double twist, back through center. And the idea, again, keeping the pelvis nice and stable, finding that twist through the bottom of your rib cage, through your waist. Always a challenge to disassociate the bottom half of the body from the top half. Not to worry if we don't quite get it. Pilates is a process, as like anything. Takes practice, takes time. The most important thing is we're here, we're doing it, moving our bodies. By the end of class, you will feel a whole lot better for having done the 45 minutes or whatever you managed to do with this class today, even if it's not the full 45. Okay, last one to each side. And we're going to come back to center, turning the palms to face the floor. We want to straighten up those knees, lift the kneecaps, make sure the quads are nice and strong, set the shoulder blades down and reach energy through those fingers. So no weights at the moment. We're going to rise up on those toes as high as we can and then lightly tap the heels. So we're just getting our balance in check, starting to figure out how to recruit our deep core muscles. We definitely want to find that point of balance, trying not to wobble around too much here. We're going to add the hand weights in shortly. Rising up and lightly touch the heels. So we're keeping the body weight forward over the balls of your feet. That's it. Good. Rising up here, we're going to hold, bend the knees just a bit, rising up and lower down. So we rise up as high as we can, keep the heels lifted as we bend. We rise up and lower, and a few more times just like this, as high as you can go on those toes, As you bend the knees, you're pressing the tops of your feet over the top of your toes, if that makes sense. Then we rise up and lower down. Just a couple more times. And you can feel that our arms are starting to take a bit of the load here. If you get the wobbles like I just did, doesn't matter. We just start again. Starting to feel a little something in those deltoids. Keep gliding the shoulders down, shoulder blades down into your back pockets. And we'll do one more. All right, lowering the heels, give the arms a bit of a break and the shoulders a bit of a roll. We're going to grab our hand weights, starting with a bit of a standing series, and then we're going to make our way down to the mat. So we're checking in with our balance because we're going to do some things on one leg, but let's take the weights out to the side. So already they feel quite heavy, so at any time you just need to take your hands back down by your side and give yourself a break. But feet on train tracks, right onto the hip joints, arms out to the side. We're going to rise up as high as we can, then we bring the arms towards each other, out to the side and lower down. So we rise up, we bring the arms towards each other, out to the side and down. So exhale up, inhale together, exhale open and inhale down, something like that. Exhale up, inhale towards each other, exhale open, inhale down. Let's keep that core engaged. Keep the body weight slightly forward, and you can see and feel that your center of gravity changes as you bring those arms forward. It's almost like you have to adjust a little bit with your weight, as in send the weight back slightly as the arms come forward. Good. 2 more times. Up, together, open, down, up, together, open, and down. Nice one. Give the shoulders a roll. Now we're going to go for some goalpost arms. Similar situation. Hopefully you'll find this one slightly easier. Rise up, elbows towards each other, open, and down. A little bit easier in terms of balance, but those shoulders are still, those deltoids, still working really, really hard. Making sure that we're keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. We don't want to see any scarecrow situations. We rise up, squeeze, open, and down. If you lose your balance, doesn't matter, who cares? No one's watching. Only me, you're only watching me. Open and down. Last one, up, squeeze, open, and down. Good, giving those shoulders a little bit of a break depending on how heavy your weights are, of course. Okay, we're gonna go for a single leg and we're just gonna place the hands on the hips for a second. So however is comfortable with your weights there. I know it's a little bit awkward. You're just gonna rest your big toe of one foot on the mat and we're gonna work through the other foot and we're gonna see if we can hover this foot as we go along. So we're gonna rise up. So you're using the big toe of your other foot just for a bit of reassurance, a bit of balance, rising up and lower down. You can also put your hand onto a wall or something if you need a bit of extra stability, but that's what this foot is for. Keep that core nice and strong. Rise up and lower and up and lower. And we'll do 3 and 2. And we're gonna hold and see if we can take this foot off the ground just for a hot second. See if we can find our balance for 3, 2, and 1, and lower down. Good, let's change to the other side. All right, big toe resting on the mat. Nice and strong with the core. Rising up. Take a second to figure it out, to figure out your center of gravity. Doesn't matter if you're still figuring it out even by the last rep. Such a simple exercise, but very challenging. Don't worry, we're going to lie down on the mat soon. 2 more times, or 3 more times. 3, 2, and we hold the last one, and we see if we can hover our foot. Ooh, here we go, nearly there. And then let's control it all the way down. give your legs a bit of a shake. Very nice. One last thing we're going to do here in the standing position before we head down to the mat. We're going to take our legs in quite a wide position, and we're going to take our arms out to the side. So when we bend our knees, the important thing is that we can match the turnout from our hips to our ankles. So we start with the tops of the legs, with the hips, and then we adjust our feet to match the turnout. If you overturn out your feet and you can't match it in your hips, your knee bend's going to look a little bit weird, and then it's not great for the knees. So you figure out your own hip turnout here. And on the inhale, we're going to bend nice and low. And on the exhale, you push through your heels to stand tall. So rotate those hips out. Turn the knees over the toes, arms out to the side. And up we come, nice. Down we go on the inhale, and up. Turning the palms to face the roof now. Inhale, lower, and exhale, standing tall. Opening up those hips, nice and wide. We're getting a little bit of a stretch on our inner thighs. Good. Turn the palms to the floor as we bend, and then turn the palms to the roof as we bend. And turn the palms to the floor, and then turn the palms to the roof. And then to the floor. Lots going on, making sure you're drawing those shoulder blades down, down, down into your back pockets. You're not elevating your shoulders. You're keeping your core switched on. The pelvic floor lightly lifted. And good. And we're going to pause here, a few little pulses, maybe circling the arms. And let's go back the other way. We're nearly there. Not too many. 3, 2, and 1. Let's come all the way up. Shoulders have a roll. Shake those legs out. And we're going to come down to the mat. So I'm going to have to move the computer to do that, but making your way down to the floor. Okay, perfect. So we're sitting here. I'm sort of towards one half because we're going to be rolling. I'm going to take the weight straight out in front. So already we're loading up those delts again. Set the shoulders down. You want to get your back as straight as you can. And then we're going to start just with some C curves of the spine. So on the exhale, we're going to round that spine. And on the inhale, we're going to sit nice and tall. Exhale, you're going to round the spine. And inhale, sit nice and tall, taking the weights above our head. Exhale, round the spine. And inhale, sit nice and tall. Exhale, round the spine. So I'm leaning back a little bit, but not a whole lot. 3, 2, and holding here. Good, so a tricky place to hold. You really want to protect that lower back. If it really is not suitable for your lower back, then you just sit up a little bit more straight. You do what you need to do to modify things. Inhale, we're going to twist the spine. Exhale, we're coming back center. Inhale, twist. Exhale, coming back through center. Inhale, twist. Exhale, back through center. We're trying to maintain C curve of the spine, that rounding of the back, so we can really get into those abdominals. Keeping the chin down. You could really feel that heat building from the inside. If you're joining me from the same time zone, same city, I do have aircon because it's pretty warm today. Very grateful for my air. Back to center. And the last one, each side. All shoulders down, dragging those feet in all the way down to the floor. And finally, taking a little bit of a breather. Now we're here on the ground. So quick little check to check that we're set in the right spot. We want that nice neutral pelvis. You melt your shoulders down into the floor. You're going to knit those ribs together down and draw those ribs down towards your belly button, hips, knees, and ankles all aligned. And you're just looking straight up at the roof. Okay, so the weights are not really featured in this next part, but you can keep hold of them or you can just pop them on the floor. All right, so I'm going to start with some pelvic tilts. Pressing my lower back down into the floor, but I'm not pressing my feet down into the mat, just leaving them resting there. And then on the inhale, I'm tipping my weight back towards my tailbone. So exhale, press your lower back down into the floor, and then rolling your weight onto the tailbone. So we want to stay nice and heavy with the pelvis. So you'll notice that it's quite easy to stay heavy as you roll onto your tailbone. But as you press your lower back into the floor, it's really tempting to press the feet into the floor too. But if you start to do that, you're just losing that extra little bit of effort that the lower abdominals and the hip flexors need to do. So let's focus all around in our abdominals and try not to press the feet down into the mat as you flatten out that spine. Nice. And you can see or you can feel that your head just nods back and forth as you're doing this. And we'll just allow it to do that so you're not holding tension in your neck. The shoulders, not actively pressing into the floor either or gripping the weights, I'm just kind of holding them there. So we're really focusing on those lower abs to control the movement of our pelvis. All right, so I think we got that. On the next one, we're going to continue to roll up into a bridge. So now, obviously, we have to increase the pressure into our feet. We're going to squeeze the glutes at the top, and then we're going to roll down bone by bone, all the way back, and we're going to go into that extended position. So into the full extension of the spine there, and then let's press the lower back down into the mat, peel up, squeeze those, and then we roll down, but then we'll do that extra little pelvic tilt, anterior tilt at the end. So you're lifting that lower back right up off the floor. Rolling down and rolling onto the tailbone. Good. And again. This one. And nice and giving each vertebra its time on the mat and tilting onto the tailbone. Good. On the next one, we're going to see if we can extend our hips even higher up off the ground. So we get to this point where we stopped before, and then we're just going to go a little bit higher so we can open up the ribs, press the hips up, and then start to close the ribs. Keep the glutes squeezing, keep the knees drawing towards each other as we roll down and moving into that extension at the end. Rolling up. We press the hips nice and high, opening up the ribs. Keep the knees squeezing towards each other. Now we begin to close the ribs, drawing those abdominals towards each other, drawing the ribs towards each other. And then rolling down. And again, 2 more times. Nice extension at the top there. Close everything up. And one more time all the way through. Open up the ribs, extend the spine, and all the way down. Or a neutral position. I'm going to float the arms up to the roof. So nothing groundbreaking here, just get some effort back into the upper body. So nice and strong and centered and stable. Engaged is the word I'm looking for with the rest of the body. And keep those shoulders down as we open up the arms. Perhaps they go all the way to the floor, but maybe they don't. And then squeeze those arms back together. So the weights are not heavy, but there should be enough weight there that you can feel a little something through your chest. We'll keep the elbows just bent slightly. And again, actively drawing your shoulder blades down towards your glutes so we can just avoid elevating the shoulders. And if you focus your mental energy on, or your mental focus on what the shoulder blades are doing, you're less likely to hold tension on top of the shoulders and up into the neck. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. So nothing groundbreaking going on here, but we're going to make it a little bit more interesting in just a couple of reps. So making sure that the rest of our body is not just doing nothing here. You're imagining you're wearing that corset going around the middle of your body. Everything is drawing in towards the midline, down towards your spine. Pelvic floor is lifting lightly. Okay, last one. I'm going to add some abs in. All right, so we'll leave the arms pointing up to the. You're going to press your lower back into the mat, and we're going to lift the knees into tabletop. So squash out all that air underneath the spine there. Nothing in between your spine and the mat. No extra air between the spine and the mat. So from here, continue with the arms, and as you open the arms, you're going to extend one of your legs. And as you close your arms, or bring them towards each other, we'll do the other one. So it's super slow and super controlled. And you want to actively draw your tummy muscles down towards the mat. Nice. So everything we're doing is really slow and really deliberate. So you can really focus on recruiting your deep stabilizers, transverse abdominis. Really pull that tummy down. You're working those hip flexors, lower abs, obviously the muscles in your chest. Good. And we'll do one or two more on each side. If you need to have a break, obviously you take one. Last one. And if you can, leave your legs up off the floor. We're going to turn the palms to face your feet or your knees. We'll start the wrists directly on top of the shoulders. Set those shoulders down again. With the lower abs, I'm going to take the arms behind. So if you've got heavy weights, just be really careful as you take your arms behind. You might not go all the way to the floor, but if you can, of course you can. And then you're going to bring those weights forward, down by your side. So not a complicated movement. But here is the important part. If your arms are going to disappear from view, you want to make real sure, proper sure, really good English there, that you can control it. Otherwise, it's going to give yourself a shoulder injury. So safety first, be to keep your arms within your view, your peripheral vision there. And then millimeter by millimeter, extend your movement if you're feeling fine. But as you take your arms behind you, you don't want to let your upper back lift up off the mat. So a few things to think about there, not just moving those arms around for no reason, of course. And we're going to add a chest lift in, not for this one, for the next one. So the chest lift would happen here. So we take the arms back. To initiate the chest lift, you're going to start to slide your chin down towards your chest, and we follow with the head and chest, actively pulling your tummy muscles down to the ground, and we're just lifting those shoulder blades up off the mat slightly. And we'll continue nice and carefully back down to the mat, stopping the arms wherever is necessary for your range of motion. Remember, don't take your arms all the way back to the floor if you can't support it. Oh, super slow, super deliberate. Means we can find that delicious burn pretty quickly. If you need to put your feet down at any time, you just do it. Exhale, lengthen the back of the neck, lift the head and chest, draw the tummy down. Nice. Whew. And do 3 more times, I think. Draw those ribs together, pull the tummy down, lift the pelvic floor. And 2 more times. And this is the last one. Back of the neck, shoulders stay down. And we'll return the arms just to 90 degrees, and then we'll take one leg down, followed by the other, and then we can take the arms down just So shuffle your feet to the outside edge of your mat, and we're just going to windscreen wiper those knees side to side, so just get the weights out of the way for this one. And we want to fold your knee all the way over and lift your hip up so we get the most out of this twist. It's like a stretch of your quad and even into your hip flexor. It's such a nice way to twist the spine. And we'll do one or two more here. All right, so giving the the weights just a break for a second, but I'm just going to pop them nearby so I can go back to them in a sec. So we'll start the exercise with no weights, and then we'll move back to them. So we want to find that neutral alignment. All right, so definitely nothing groundbreaking about this exercise. We're just going to lift the hips straight up into a bridge. I'm going to come halfway down and then press the hips all the way up. So we come halfway down and then we squeeze the glutes on the way up. Halfway down, squeeze the glutes. I'm going to give you lots of options for this exercise. So the first option is to take the arms up to the roof. So you're really just relying on the strength in your glutes and in your hamstrings. Through the abdominals. Really tuck that butt under, back this way, lengthening from underneath. In your hands, which we've already done lots of. The third thing we can do, place weights on top of your pelvis somewhere. You have to hold them there so they don't fall off. So you've got a little bit of extra weight there, loading up the glutes and the hammies. Not recommended if you have a sore back, this one, with the weights here. So choose one of the other options. And this might seem totally achievable for now, but of course, we're going to make it a little bit more tricky. So if you're balancing the weight, you can drop your elbows to the ground if you need that extra support. Otherwise, let's keep those elbows lifted. All right, so we're going to raise one knee into tabletop, and then we're going to place that leg down, evening up your bridge. Other leg into tabletop, and then we're going to place that foot down. If you're lucky, like me, you get foot cramps for no reason. This is where I often get them. Just wriggle that ankle around if that's happening to you as well. Good. Place the foot down, lift it up, and place it down. So the idea is that we keep the pelvis nice and stable. It doesn't tilt or twist around, especially as we do the weight transfer. Good. Let's go one more time each side. Amazing. And then we're going to go halfway down, all the way up. Just a few more times. Halfway down, all the way up. Halfway down, all the way up. One more time. Halfway down, all the way up. Good. Keep the glutes squeezing as we roll down. We can remove the weights, pop them out of the way. Keep the bring the knees in towards your armpits and allow that lower back to have a stretch out. And that always feels good after we do lots of bridging. Okay, moving on to a little bit more for our abdominals. So we want to attach our lower back to the mat, lift the legs into tabletop. This time we're taking the arms out to the side. I'm just going to move these out of the way. And take a second to relax the shoulders down onto the mat. Lift the pelvic floor. On the inhale, we're going to rock both knees to one side. So we're allowing the hips to twist. And then we'll pull the legs back to center. We'll go to the other side. So although the hips are tilting and twisting, our shoulders, our shoulder blades, our arms, they will stay exactly as we left them on the mat. And we want to keep the knees and ankles squeezing. And just notice in your own body as you twist to the side, whether your knees or your ankles, I guess, are gliding past each other. Are they moving as you tilt? If so, you might need to just try and get that extra bit of tilt. We want to stack the joints one on top of the other and keep them stacked so there's no sliding going on. just a good way to improve your focus. Inhale, we tilt. Exhale, we come back through center. Inhale, we tilt. Exhale, back through center. So this exercise feels hard. You're really relying on the strength in your lower abdominals, hip flexors, and your obliques. You can do this, of course, with the feet resting on the ground. All right, and we'll come back to center, lowering down the legs one at a time. Nice work. So we're going to grab those weights again. Using the weights in the roll-ups is completely optional. It might be too much when you're trying to focus on the actual roll-ups to even worry about the weights. So let's bring to we're going to start by taking the arms behind us, but not all the way to the floor. Remember, just where you can control it. So you've got those ribs drawing towards each other. You've got your belly button pulling down. But I'm digging my heels slightly into the floor just because I want to make sure that they stay there. So we're going to bring the weights forward now. Lengthen the neck. The weights will be our friend a little bit. They do help us up, believe it or not. So we round the spine, shoulders are down, and then we're going to take the arms all the way up as we extend our spine. Okay, so arms come first. We round back, keep those shoulders down, looking down at your knees. Keep the shoulders down as we roll down, super slow, painfully slow. Keep that tummy down, 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 down. Once the head hits the floor, then you can take your arms behind you. If you need a little bit of momentum, who am I to judge? You do what you need to do. That's the thing about exercising at home. You don't have to worry about anyone else. Round the back and then extend the spine, sitting as tall as you can, shoulders down. Round the back, arms come forward. And rolling down. All right, not giving yourself a hard time if this exercise feels unachievable. For many people, it's just that thing that they hate doing. It's really hard. It takes a little bit of practice to feel comfortable with it, especially even sitting up tall like this at the end. So it's fine to bend your knees if you need to. Your hamstrings really plays a role in this. Center of gravity, believe it or not, plays a huge role. So if you, in general, trying not to generalize too much, but men find this exercise harder because their center of gravity is more in their shoulders and their chest. Women tend to find it a little bit more achievable, no, I wouldn't say easier, but more achievable because their center of gravity is usually around their hips. Having said that, of course, everyone's different. Some people have a very, very stiff back and cannot find that curvature in their spine in order to achieve this. So honestly, you're just doing what you can, trying not to take Pilates and life too seriously. The important thing is you're moving, that you're setting aside the time to do this for yourself, blah, 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 all of that. The fact that we're all here is a win, in my opinion. And last one. Round the back. And sitting tall. I think we're going to pop the weights to the side for now. We've done almost 35 minutes or 33 minutes of weight, so that's a good result. So I think we're going to come over onto our knees. Go at this end. And I'm going to do a little bit more for our back extensors and for our glutes and hammies. So you're just going to take the hands underneath the shoulders. You're going to lengthen the back of the neck. You're going to bring your wings in nice and close to your body. So From here, the legs are together. You're going to press your pubic bone into the mat, so you're trying to decrease the curve in your lower back there, so we can focus on glutes and hamstrings and not just hang out in our lower back. We're going to lift the upper back just a touch, and you want to be using your back strength, so you can wiggle around your hands, although we're going to leave them on the floor. Squeeze those glutes, and we're going to lift the legs just a little bit, not really high, just a little bit here. Alright, so then with the right leg only, we're going to lift it up and lower back down, but not all the way to the floor. Right leg again, lift it up and lower. So the back of your neck stays nice and long. Lifting the right leg, lower down. Lift and lower. So the left leg is just hovering slightly up off the mat. You're really trying to decrease the curve in your lower back. Nice, working the back of your leg and the glute to find the strength here in your legs, to lift that leg. Same leg, we're going to do a bit of a square situation, so we lift the right leg, we take it out to the side, we lower it down, and we bring it back in. We lift it up, drawing a square, out, down, and in. Lift it up, out, down, and in. Lift it up, out, down, and in reverse, out, up, across, and down. So let's not forget about the nice setup that we've done for ourselves. So continue to press that pubic bone into the mat. Continue to keep the back of the neck nice and long. And we'll do one more going this way. And then let's have a little rest before we do the other side. So just pop your ear to the mat. And we're ready to do the other side. So let's set up. We're going to lift our chest off of the mat just a bit. Pressing the pubic bone into the floor. We're going to lift both legs up. Just a touch. And now we're going with the left leg. Lift it up. And lower. Lift it up. And lower. Keeping your wings in. So you might find that one leg is easier than the other. You want to keep the legs mostly straight. And in just a sec, we'll move into that square pattern. Reset those shoulders if you need to. Alright, so on the next one, we're going to lift up, take it out to the side, down and in. Up, across, down and in. Remembering that it's just a small movement. We're not really trying to let the pelvis move around too much. Starting to feel that effort in our hamstring and our glutes. Hopefully not too much in the lower back. We're going to reverse after we finish this square. So we go out, up, across and down, out, up, across and down. A few more times. Such a simple movement, but as you can feel, it's quite hard. And relax down, turning your ear to the mat. Nice one. So an exercise we're going to do for our lower back, we're going to start with a little stretch of the quads. So if your knees allow it, just bringing your heel towards your glutes, and you're just going to add that little bit of pressure. If you've got a towel nearby, if you can't quite reach your foot, you've got a towel nearby, you can kind of wrap it around, or anything else really that you can think of. Otherwise, don't worry too much. We're not going to be here for long. But when we're in this position, and you're just going to press to intensify the stretch, pressing your pubic bone down into the mat. I'm aware of squashing the microphone here, so I'm keeping my chest up so you don't lose the audio, but you keep your chest down. Alright, let's switch to the other side. Just noticing the difference here. Oh, foot cramp, love that. Okay, great. So what we're going to do here, a few options. If this one's not achievable, I'm going to give you an option, a modification, so don't worry. Get started with this one though. So grabbing into both your feet if you can, lengthening the back of the neck. It's pretty hard, but trying to press that pubic bone down into the mat. This is not a fun exercise, FYI, so sorry about that. You're going to start to kick your feet into your hands. We're going to extend the spine just a little, lift your knees up, and then we're going to lower down. All right, you've got it one more time before I modify it. So you're going to kick your feet into your hands, lifting your knees up off the ground, stretching your chest, and lower down. For those of you who don't want to do that, which is probably all of us, place the feet down on the mat, hands down underneath your shoulders, and you're just going to use the floor to extend the spine, okay? So you've got a different option for that. Show you another one of these. So we use our back strength first, and then you press your hands down into the mat to extend the spine. All right, I'll do one of each. I'll keep alternating. So you can choose your poison, kicking the feet into the hands, lifting the knees, extending the spine, stretching the chest. Ooh, knee crack, do another one of these. Kick the toes, feet into the hands, lift. Lower, swapping back now to the other one. And under the shoulders, using your back strength first and then your arm strength to get that extra bit of height. Do one more of those. Good news is we're nearly at the end. So whichever one you've chosen, that was the last one. We're going to sit back on your heels. So bring your knees in, close together so we can get the best back stretch. Sit right back on those heels, tuck the chin, and enjoy this stretch. The idea is that we get that nice stretch in the lower back. If it's not achievable for your shoulders, of course, you can tuck your hands right there, in your toes, whatever works. Taking both arms around to one side, leaning into your side stretch. See how far around you can walk those hands, leaning into it, seeing what that does to your side body. Feels quite nice. And we'll do the same to the other side, so nice and carefully. Walk your hands around, lean into the stretch. And walk the hands a little bit further around, see how far you can go, see what it feels like. And then we'll come back into this crawling position, and we're going to knock out the plank straight away. So 1 foot behind, lifting straight up into your plank position. You want to squeeze those glutes, tuck the pelvis under, push the floor away, and not allow the chest to sink down towards the mat. If you want, of course, we've got the option to lift into a side plank. That's really up to you if you want to go for that. Otherwise, just stay in your plank. Of course, drop down to your elbows if you need to. Always options, modifications to take. Don't ever feel like in any class you ever do, you have to do what the instructor says. It's just a guide, remember? And lift. Oh, got some more foot cramps, so this is fun. And just holding that nice strong plank if you're not doing the side planks. And one more time through. And back to center. So we're going to walk our feet in, step by step. On your knees if you need to, otherwise we're just hanging upside down here. And then you're going to pull your tummy in, and we're going to roll up bone by bone. So pull that tummy in, rolling all the way up. until we're standing. Here we are at the end. Let's do those roll downs. So find your space on the mat, standing up as tall as you can. Big breath in. Exhale breath is going to last you all the way to the floor. Perhaps you don't want to bend your knees this time because you should feel nice and warm already. You can extend the spine at the bottom by pressing your belly button towards your knees, that sort of thing. But make sure you support your back on the way up with your abdominals. And we're going to do 2 more times. So check in with your body. How did you feel at the start? And how do you feel now? And we're going to finish on the last one. We'll stay upside down just for a few breaths, just to stretch out those hammies. We've done a lot for them. It's also nice in the lower back. So here we are, we're upside down. You can take your hands onto the backs of your legs somewhere. You can bend your knees if you want to, and you can stretch. You can do whatever you think your legs need. Try to stay upside down so we get a little bit of blood flow into the head, unless you feel dizzy, of course. And we're just loosening up those hammies, giving them a bit of love after all of this. And we'll do one more little bend and a stretch. And then let's place our hands on the floor, then draw the tummy in, rolling up nice and slow. We don't need any dizziness or any head spins. Just allowing that blood to go back down. And we're all done. Thanks so much for joining me. And I will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.